to you from the poorly painted studios in Cumming, Georgia. This is the Chuck and Z Show. And now, here's Chuck and Z.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the Chuck and Z Show. Of course, I'm Chuck.
And I'm Z.
And we actually have a special limited edition podcaster, or excuse me, producer with us today, Mr. O-Town, Mr. Ocean.
What's up, everybody?
You like producer O-Town or producer Ocean?
O-Town's cool.
O-Town? All right, we'll go O-Town.
O-Town Records.
See, that's how it should go. I drop a nickname. They're like, you know what? I like that one.
Yeah.
And now we're good. From now on, it's O-Town.
For sure.
Producer Chaos just didn't want to accept that she's a little chaotic.
Yeah, but
she's
we've
good.
gotten her a little bit.
She's good. We love her. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us tonight. She's not feeling well.
I know. She missed Friendsmas yesterday, too.
She did. Yeah, so
and
we've
going to visit her mom.
True. It's actually been quite a busy month. We were just talking about this earlier today. Unfortunately, we have not had a chance to ride much this month due to weather and other obligations with work, and it's just been. I'm feeling the edginess.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely a Grinch right now. So if you encounter me before I get to go on a ride, which hopefully is this week, yeah, just be careful because.
It's interesting because everybody has their thing, right? People say, "Don't talk to me before I have my coffee." Coffee's for your morning.
Right.
In some scenarios, maybe your day, right? Motorcycles are for your life.
100%.
Like it's like that's the thing that I need to get out some of this. For me, it's the aggression that I'm born with.
I know.
That's one way for me to get it out.
I know. It's crazy because before riding, it was exercise, right? I would do that consistently, and if I didn't get a workout in on a certain day, I was really pent up, just like with aggression and just anxiety. And now that I've been riding motorcycles for 8 years, it's been the motorcycles. And I don't remember going as long as we have, except for if it were.
It's rare.
If it, the bikes were being worked on in a shop or. So it's been 4 weeks, guys. And I hate to admit it, but honestly, it's been work. Work's been a lot crazier than it has been.
And a lot going on.
In recent years around this time. Like it has never been this busy. Family stuff and, other things that we have to take care of. So
it's interesting. I wonder if talking about work for a second, because obviously we've been doing this for a long time. Combined, we have over 50 years of experience specifically in this industry. Mm-hmm. And normally the I guess the holiday rush that you get, the seasonality of the business, is starting in October, sometimes near the end of September. Everyone's planning in August for what the fourth quarter is going to look like and ramping up. But we didn't see as much of that this year. There were some, but nowhere near as much. But it feels like it went into overdrive over like maybe the last 2 to 3 weeks. So I think it's a good sign that the seasonality didn't go away completely.
Right.
I think that maybe they were hedging their bets. I know this is very entertaining stuff, but maybe they were hedging their bets to see exactly how the orders were going to come in before they pre-planned.
Definitely.
Because the last 3 or 4 years have really kind of changed how you have to plan for Q4 especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So we saw the seasonality pick up last couple of weeks in November and then, in through December, which is crazy in our industry. So it's been a good year.
Q4 so far. And I think one of the things that's interesting about our industry, though, why I think it's relevant to really no matter what industry you're in, is because we do people. We put people to work all across different types of industries, different types of professional, non-professional, skilled labor, et cetera. So we kind of get to see how all of business is approaching Q4 versus just one specific industry.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Welcome to corporate talk.
Welcome to
Corporate corner.
Staffing. Staffing Wars with Chuck and Z. So as you can tell, we are in our holiday flannels, and just the last show before Christmas, which is in a week from today, which is crazy.
It feels like it was a week ago yesterday.
It does.
Last Christmas.
It does.
It just goes so fast now.
Exactly. So we're excited. Tonight is a special podcast. Obviously, we had our Tapoco. Said that wrong on my story on Instagram, and I beat myself up about it. But Tapoco Lodge giveaway, 2 nights stay for you and a friend, and anyone that entered that giveaway will do that live here in a few minutes. And then we just want to kind of talk about our holiday plans and some movies that we've seen recently. And obviously, we need to go riding because that's something that is going to be picking at me for a minute.
Yeah, we got to go.
Until we go. So
something I want to go ahead and give a big shout out, though. Check these out.
Yes. So our friend Tim, Hog Dog Moto, if you're on, Tim, thank you so much for our Chuck and Z shirts. Yeah. And it even is a little bit personalized with our stickers on the back with our bikes on it.
That's really cool.
So this is a sticker that I have that I give out to friends and those who want some. So it has our bike. This is actually old Cali. This is Cali 1.
Yeah.
But our
still gorgeous.
It is. And the art that I think his name is Fouad Zain on Instagram. He made this and it was really cool. And so I decided to make it into a sticker. But yeah, Chuck and Z. And the only reason why we're not wearing it today is because we want it to be festive for the holidays. But we'll wear them on our next show.
We will. And, I was talking to him beforehand about wanting to do shirts specifically like this, just with our logo on the front. So I think we're probably going to try to get some of these made up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. Also, I was going to give a shout out to, I don't know who, honestly. So I get a package in the mail today. And I was like, I don't know what this is. And it's a map of the dragon.
That's awesome.
Which is really, really cool.
Laminated. We can put in, frame it.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to put it up and frame it, but I have no idea who sent it to me. So whoever
if you're
you are.
watching, anonymous, whoever you are, if you're watching, give us a shout out. We'd love to know who sent us this awesome Tell the Dragon map.
And if you don't already have stickers, we'll make sure we send you some in return.
Yes.
But thank you for that. It's really cool. I can't wait to frame it and put it up. It's a different size, so I'm going to have it framed.
Right.
Yeah. Do you want to do our giveaway?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get that started. We are 8 minutes into the show.
Yep. So run everybody through what the giveaway was.
Hopefully everybody's watching, whoever submitted their names. So the giveaway is to Tapoco Lodge in Robbinsville, North Carolina, right at the base of the dragon. And it's a 2-night stay for you and your significant other, friend. And just a 2-night stay. And you can enjoy the amenities there at Tapoco.
And there's so much cool stuff to do. I mean, they've got hiking trails there. One goes above this little waterfall that's really nice. And the food. It's really a nice, I'm sorry. I mean, I talk about food all the time. It's one of my favorite things. Like if I go somewhere and it's gorgeous and the food sucks.
I know.
Like I'm always going to be like, oh yeah, it's pretty. But
the food.
But the food though. No, the food was great. The wait staff was great. Everyone there was great. The drinks were a heavy pour.
Yes.
So be ready for that because they getting you drunk.
I know.
Kept me warm though. It was cold when we were there. So
it was. And so during the holidays, it's beautifully decorated and really warm and accommodating for you and your loved ones. But this 2-night stay excludes holidays and excludes the river releases, and they have 4 river releases during the year, but you can work it out with the staff at Tapoco. And like Chuck said, they're amazing people. Eric, the marketing coordinator, director, he is great, and he'll be reaching out to the winner to set that up and have a great time either in one of the lodge rooms, they have 9 lodge rooms right there at the lodge, and they have 21 cabins on the facility. So All right.
And we mentioned it was gorgeous, right?
Gorgeous.
Okay.
Bike friendly. Right there at the Tail of the Dragon.
Yeah, like
you can hit Cherahala.
I started the monsters up in the morning, and I got a bunch of like, yeah.
I know. Thumbs up.
I didn't get any of the like, hey, I'm trying to sleep. People were like, yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
I did get a little bit of hell yeah, brother. Also, really cool cars come up there. A lot of exotic cars. Like we saw like a really old Model T or something.
It was a Model T.
Yeah. And then a bunch of like, there was a McLaren there. Anyway, all right. Yeah. I'm so excited. You're going to have a great time.
Cars, a bunch of awesome Jeeps. Just, people that ride the Dragon and go up there.
Oh, yeah. Not to mention that. I mean, it's right there at the Dragon.
Right.
Yeah, so you have all of those. If you're a motorcycle rider, absolutely.
The Dragon, the Cherahala Skyway, Moonshiners 28.
Which is awesome if you've never ridden that.
Yeah, Blue Ridge is right down. It's somewhere over there. Parkway.
It's a motorcycle mecca.
It is.
Okay.
It's the Smoky Mountain.
Did we sell it enough?
I think we did.
I think it's awesome. I'm really excited. I'm going to hit the spin. I can't even because you and I do not, this is truly.
All right. Literally putting this into
truly random, just doing the spinner.
An app.
All the people that qualified.
So
all the people that qualified are in this app, and we're going to spin it. Here we go.
And the winner is Jake.nyby. Let me look him up on Instagram so I have the right name.
Yeah, so I had to go off of the Instagram names and the people that subscribed. So it was Jake.nwby.
Hold on 1 second. I'll pull it up, guys. Sorry about that. But it's, Jake.nyby, Jake Newbie. You've won the 2 night stay for yourself and a friend. And it looks like you actually go up there a whole lot. So I'm actually pretty jealous about that.
I know, right?
But yes, congrats on the 2 night stay. So we'll hit you up on Instagram if you're not looking at the show tonight and let you know about the win and get you in touch with Eric for coordinating that stay.
Yeah. Congratulations, Jake.
And we'll actually do another giveaway in January. And I'm really excited about this giveaway because it is something that's personal to me. And it's going to be the La Para seat from Cali 2.0. The first one that I did is identical to the one that's on it now, except for the one that I have now is the up front. So takes me a little bit closer to the bars, but it will be the La Para seat that I customized for Cali 2.0. So I'm really excited to give that away here in January.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous seat. It's got the grip tape on it.
Yes, it has the yellow stripes, the grip tape with the chevron design. So
yeah, it's really nice. So I wanted to talk about, we saw the new Godzilla movie.
We did. We had a date night last Saturday?
One of those. No, it was Friday.
Okay. Friday night, we went and we saw Godzilla -1.
Is it -1 or minus? Yeah. It's -1. Yeah.
-0.
Something like that.
You said you were looking I wrote it down.
You hear what I'm dealing with over here? Oh.
I wrote it down.
You see this?
-0. So this film is set in 1954 in Japan. It's the origin story for Godzilla. It actually is really good. It is in Japanese, so they do have the English captions.
You've been doing it your whole life. Quit whining.
But it kept me entertained the whole time, honestly. And it was a great story about, it was right after World War II. Mm-hmm. And, they'd already been hit by the U.S. So now they're fighting Godzilla, who's this crazy creature. They made him really awesome, really cool. And then what does he do that, like, when his back lights up?
Yeah, so...
like some kind of radiation?
So he builds up his radiation and does a blast that's basically the level of an atomic bomb.
Yes.
I mean, it's interesting when you watch it, and this one especially, when you watch it, you cannot get around the allegory. Godzilla is the U.S. coming in to drop nukes, just destroying everything. You cannot get around it. I mean, think about, he's a creation of like nukes or whatever. And in this movie specifically, they do it against the backdrop of World War II. And they show basically the atomic blast twice that this animal can let off. And the imagery, all of that, it's just so hard not to see that within that story. Like I think about the art represents what the people are dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Just think about how they would have seen that. Just the random people in the street, not talking about the military people. They would have seen it as this massive invading monster coming to take away their life. Yeah. And that's really, in my opinion, what Godzilla kind of was born out of. Mm-hmm. But anyways, but then they also have like the main characters, a kamikaze pilot. I don't think this is a spoiler alert because they allude to it in the trailer. Right. Who doesn't go through with being a kamikaze, and the shame and the stuff that he has to deal with because of that. It was a great human story. No matter how you felt about the story that was being told, you could, which is one of the things that I think a lot of the most recent Godzilla movies, which are great, they're big, dumb action movies, but they forget a lot about the human element. They don't make the human element matter. It's always random and coincidence. Yeah. You know, oh, I'm attached to this kid out of coincidence. And whereas this one, they allow you to really develop an emotional attachment to all the characters.
That's true. Now,
Godzilla itself, I mean, yeah, it was more of the traditional plotting, not very fast Godzilla, but whenever he lets go, he packs a punch.
Yes, he does. And so I hope to see this particular Godzilla versus Kong. I don't know. Like, I feel like this particular Godzilla would, put a whooping on Kong.
And see, King Kong was kind of America's answer to the Godzilla thing, right? So you think about the big monster. So King Kong's always kind of represented America's big monster thing, right? And so Kong going against Godzilla was inevitable because of people that love these monster movies. But if you look at the most recent Godzilla movie that's coming out, not this storyline, right, the one that's been going on with Kong Skull Island and all of that. Yeah. They're leaning more heavily towards the Kong aspect of it. Like the bad guy's a new kind of Kong, and Kong's actually a good guy, and Godzilla fights on Kong's side. It's a very interesting juxtaposition and compared to this movie that we just watched.
It is.
But I don't think it's on the same level special effects wise as anything that we've seen recently. But they are convincing enough that you can suspend belief. Like Godzilla looked a little too human in the face to me. He always has.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, like I felt that the movie did it justice. It was more realistic. The only things that I didn't like was some of him coming out of the water and like him destroying battleships, like crazy battleships. But I just feel like they would, like, why are you trying to take on Godzilla?
Yeah, it's not smart.
The dude withstood 50 caliber.
But I mean, come on,
bullets. Like,
all right, so anyone who's smart in this movie, they just become a mobile society.
Yeah,
you just can't have a city,
right?
And someone tell, "Oh, Godzilla's coming." Well, shit, let's back up.
Let's go.
You're just fighting him. You're making it worse.
Turn the ship around.
Let's turn the ship around.
Call back from a few episodes.
No, so they're not smart people in the movies.
Right.
None of these people are smart. I mean, people are just still hanging out.
Right.
Like, oh, this big lizard just attacked us like 100 miles away. And people are like,
yeah,
it's not here.
Right.
We're good.
But then one part, I think you had actually stepped out to go refill your drink. But there was one part where the Japanese government, didn't want to tell the people that Godzilla was on his way to Tokyo to,
No, that's probably the most realistic part.
Exactly. Don't tell them. It's a surprise to me.
I've been going down rabbit holes on that kind of stuff lately, and I'm pretty much convinced that aliens have been here for a very long time. And yeah. Like everything that I think we've heard in history about angels and gods. I think it's all aliens. And I think that it makes sense to me. Like when you take things like the Bible and you recognize that the stories in the book have been told multiple times over and over and over and over again in different contexts, different settings by different types of people.
Right.
Those exact same stories have been told repeatedly all the way back to Sumerians, all the way back to Hindu religions, right?
Right.
And then you couch it, you take it and you read it not from the standpoint of the magic, the mystical. You read it from a standpoint of how could this be done in a technological sense? Things like the virgin birth. Back then, that had to be magic. Today, we can do that.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy when you go down and you kind of try to figure it out in a scientific and then like realistic point of view, like logical point of view, which all of those stories have always been mythical and, you know, I don't know, ethereal.
Yeah.
So you never, like, it was always like, what does this mean? Well, you won't know unless you believe, right? It's always about your belief in it that's going to get you somewhere, that's going to open up the pathways and doors. And I'm not saying that your belief in something isn't real or anything like that. What I'm saying is, why isn't there a logical explanation for the things that have happened and, you know, the things that they say that you should believe in?
I think it's something as simple as people weren't able to comprehend it.
Yeah.
People wouldn't understand it. I use this example all the time. If you had to go back 500 years, hell, not even that far, go back 100 years and explain to someone how a cell phone works. Zeros and ones floating on beams of light all around you at all time, and this decodes it into a video.
Right.
This decodes it into, oh, let me explain what a video is. I can capture reality in a still and make them run very fast, and it looks like things are moving.
And you know what?
Explain that to people 200-300 years ago.
No, explain it to me now. 'Cause that stuff is just like...
This shit is magic.
Yes.
It's magic to me. I don't know how it does what it does. I don't know how that's a picture of you. I don't understand it.
Right.
Because there's not actually a picture on my phone. There's no physical thing on my phone.
I know.
It's just a bunch of zeros and ones that this thing calculates instantly into the exact zeros and ones that you sent me.
Right.
This thing has more computing power than by far. It's so ridiculous the more powerful this thing is than what they sent to the people to the supposedly, allegedly, to the moon on. Right?
Yeah. I know.
But so I think that's what it is. I think that, and then you just layer years of systems of control on top of these stories, and until it's like, even when you go back to the deep parts of the Bible and people want to bring up like the shrimp thing and all that stuff. Yeah, people were probably getting sick.
Yeah.
Don't eat pork. They couldn't figure out how to cook it without you getting sick. We know now, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So these were rules that were added in because people at the time didn't know how to address it.
Yeah, that's why you like everything well done. Well done steak.
You can't get
chicken.
sick. It's definitely dead.
Chicken drier than I don't know what. I'm kidding.
How dare you? My chicken's not that dry, is it?
No, I'm saying that's what you like.
That's what that is not how I cook it, but I always cook a little extra for myself.
Yeah.
I grew up in a house where pretty much everything was Cajun. This isn't Cajun. This is burnt.
Well, I can agree with that because we used to have some. I think I've told you guys this before. Like, my dad's from El Salvador, and my mother was from Houston, Texas. So my dad's from Latin America, and my mom was African American, and obviously she grew up cooking and eating things like, you know, Southern food. And when my parents got together, they were having to figure out, you know, what good was. And my dad's used to a certain type of, you know, food, and my mom was used to just feeding us whatever. And then growing up without a lot of means, like, my mom would do her best to cook tortillas and, you know, beans and rice and things that my dad
Soak some rice.
Yeah, so she would, you know, the rice and the beans were great, but sometimes she would burn the tortillas and we would still eat them, and she would call them chari charis. for our sake, just to kind of make it fun or whatever, because this is all we had at the time. And I grew up drinking, I think I was drinking coffee at the age of 2, but it would be children's coffee. So it'd be coffee with a ton of milk and sugar to make it taste good for us. But yeah.
Just start that addiction early.
Yeah, it did. I'm totally addicted to caffeine.
I'm totally addicted to coffee too. Yeah, Eddie Murphy did a joke a long time ago that I always really identified with, where he was talking about his mom making him a burger. And he's like, I want a McDonald's burger. And she's like, you don't want a McDonald's burger, you want a mom burger. And he goes home.
Mom burger?
And she's like, she's got bell peppers and onions. And he's like, that don't look like a McDonald's burger. But I went through that, and it was on 2 pieces of bread.
Hello?
Yeah, I went through that growing up where we just couldn't afford it. So there was no going out to even at like, and then keep in mind at that time, when I was 18, a 2 cheeseburger meal was $2.99, $3.14 with tax.
Yep. Which was not that expensive back then.
Right? So that my point is we couldn't afford that.
I know. Yeah.
So we were eating, it was
burgers.
You realize that it's filler, right? They only could get
100%.
a half pound of meat. So they have to fill it out. You don't realize it as a kid.
Bell peppers and onions and even some tomato in there from time to time.
That's why I always talk about how when people say you grew up a certain way, about this thing. Usually what they're describing is poor stuff, right?
Right.
Like when people bring up like syrup sandwiches. I know what the fuck a syrup sandwich is. I absolutely ate syrup sandwiches growing up. Every now and then we get lucky and have some peanut butter with it.
Right.
You'd mix the peanut butter and syrup together, and that was a sandwich you ate. I used to joke around about how I never even had bread till I was an adult.
Why? Oh, because it was frozen.
Because you had to fry. So my mom would go, bread expires, right?
Toast.
And they would sell it at the store that expired, right? The next day. So you buy you have a day to buy this bread or something. My mom would go in there and buy like 10 loaves, put them in the freezer.
Probably 10 cents a piece.
Right? But you can't unthaw bread. It just becomes a soggy mess.
Yeah.
So I always had to have toast because you could toast it. So that's what you would have.
Yeah.
So for most of my life, bread was toast.
Syrup sandwiches, sugar sandwiches.
Sugar sandwiches.
You ever had that?
Yeah. I remember when I used to beg for pixie sticks, my mom would put some sugar and Kool-Aid in a little thing. Shake it up. Here's your pixie stick.
Yeah. What was that candy that you dipped the little candy into
Fun Dip.
Fun Dip. Yeah. Do you remember those?
I remember those. Mine was with a spoon because it's exactly the same thing my mom would do is put sugar and Kool-Aid in there, and you take a spoon, and that's how you would eat it. Lick it off the spoon.
Producer O-Town, did you have Fun Dip when you were growing up?
Definitely had Fun Dip. Not really my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot of sugar, right?
Yeah, but like when you found it in like a Halloween ordeal. I liked it.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
You don't go out of your way to get it, but if someone gave it to you, I feel you.
Yeah.
What is your favorite candy?
My favorite candy. I don't really have like a particular one. I would say just anything gummy.
Gummy.
Like Trolley, gummy bears, gummy worms.
Albanese.
Yeah. What about you, Z?
Gummy is my favorite. It used to be chocolate.
Yeah.
But over the years, chocolate gets to be too rich for me sometimes. So anything gummy, like gummy bears, I don't know. It probably was Ocean too because, him growing up in the same household, and then
you're always eating them.
I'm always eating, like picking off of his candy. I can't have gummy or anything candy. Ocean, let me get some.
Yeah, when I think back as a kid, the candies that I remember the most, obviously, was my grandfather would always give me butterscotch. So I used to love going over there, so I'd get that butterscotch. But that's the only time I ever ate it. It's not like I go in the store and see a bag of butterscotch and I'm like, I gotta have some of that. I think that's strictly like people over 62 buy that to give to their kids.
Butterscotch?
Yeah.
Those little strawberry candies?
Yeah. Yeah, the ones that had, the green and red wrapper on them. Yeah. But I always like the cow's eyes. You know what I'm talking about? They were like a caramel circle with the little white sugar in the middle.
I'm good on that.
Those were always, I liked those when I was a kid.
Cowtails?
Cowtails, those are like the long ones with the sugar in the middle. But as an adult, peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah.
Literally almost anything that's got peanut butter and chocolate in it.
That's true, yeah. Do you remember fruit roll-ups?
Yeah.
Those used to be my jam too.
Yeah.
Fruit roll-ups, you would have to unwrap it off of that plastic but then, you know, get stuck in your teeth too.
See, I'm still weird. Like you'll recognize this about me because I liked sour candy every now and then. But like when people would be like, "Hey, I got this Warhead. Oh my God, can you? It's so hot." And I remember I ate one time and was like, "Why would you want this?" I don't understand. But people, I've always been that way. Like if it's not something that gives me pleasure, I don't really care if you think I'm a wimp because I don't want it in my mouth. Right? I don't understand that. It doesn't make, it's like when people are like, "Oh, I can eat the hottest pepper ever." You understand that's a plant's defense mechanism, right?
Yeah.
It's literally hot so you don't eat it.
Yeah.
You're just stubborn, right? You know, "I'm going to eat it."
Yeah.
Eat it. That's fine if you want to do you, but I'm over here like, I don't want to be in pain. Like when you watch people eat that on those shows, famously, whatever, where they're trying to have conversations and there's snot coming out of their eyes.
Oh, stop, yeah.
Or their mouth. And
No.
I'm good. I'm good.
My brothers and my dad used to have jalapeno eating contests. So
That's that top of the tree stuff,
they would-
right? I'm a man.
yeah.
Yeah.
They would try to prove their manhood to my dad because, you know, he came into their lives when they were, I would say they were 8, 9, and 10 maybe. So they were, you know, older. And here's this guy coming into their lives, you know, taking over as the man of the house.
Yeah.
And it was funny. They would have to have these contests where they prove who's the manliest. And
I can endure more mouth pain than you.
yeah, so they would, you know, take whole jalapenos, pop them in their mouths, and be crying and all that kind of stuff.
I'm sure a lot of people are like, "Oh, you know, you just don't get it." I don't. You're 100% right. Like when I go eat stuff that's super hot, I'm always like, this is not a pleasant experience. We have evolved past having to eat things we don't want to eat.
Yeah.
Right? But people get so like wrapped up in,
Yeah.
you don't like hot. No,
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't.
I actually couldn't see you and Ocean doing a Carolina Reaper contest.
Would you do that, Oh?
I want to actually do the one chip challenge. Have you seen that? Like first
Yes,
look at
with
one.
I think I saw it with Shaq. Didn't he do it?
I'm not
recently?
sure if Shaq did it, but I definitely want to try it. And there's like this pepper store
Yep.
in the outlets that I work at, and I like want to go in there because I know they have it. But
What kind of peppers on that chip? And does it taste like a nacho cheese Dorito?
it does not. And I heard them say don't swallow it because it like burns your throat all the way down.
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah, but I want to try it though, just to see.
I'm telling you how it's going to go.
Interesting.
It's going to be hot. And you're going to get snotty. And what other outcome are you expecting?
I'm not expecting a different outcome. I just want to see what it's. I just want to feel the experience because I don't really eat hot stuff like that. Like I'm not the biggest fan of hot stuff, but I don't mind it, like a little spice.
Right.
But something that hot, I kind of want to see what that's like.
I like savory. I like flavorful. But when it gets to that point of like, I'm in pain to eat it, I don't have to do that.
Well, that's really fast for you. I mean, hot wings. You're like, yeah, it's too much. Sometimes, for me, I like them extra hot, and it is because of the Latin. You know, growing up eating hot foods.
Yeah, people have explained it's like another flavor to them.
It does. Yes.
To me, it just feels like misery.
If it's hot wings and they're not a little bit on the extra spicy side, I don't really like them. I just don't get into them as much as I do like an extra, just atomic spicy.
I feel
and
you.
I like crying when I'm eating my hot wings. I do. I know, and you don't. So
it's okay though. I mean, I don't want anyone to not do what they want to do. I just always, it's like when people drink black coffee,
right?
and they act like that's equal to going to Nam or something, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they'll be like, "Hey, what are you doing to that coffee?" I'm putting some creamer and sugar in it. Oh, what? You don't like it black? No, I like it like this. Oh, I put hair on your chest. Does it?
Yeah.
Is that what it does? It puts hair on my chest.
It's kind of bitter and, you know, it tastes like coffee.
There are times where I actually do like just straight black coffee.
Yeah.
But
It's a good espresso.
Every now and then, right? But usually I like to put a little cream in it. And I really don't judge other people for not wanting to, oh, you like that? Congratulations.
Right.
I like it this way.
Like when you go to Starbucks and order a Frappuccino instead of like a regular coffee.
Absolutely. When I go get
That's dessert.
When I go get it's 2,000 calories. Let's stop pretending. This is just my pick me up for the day. It is not. You are drinking a cake.
I know.
That's all the same, almost the same ingredients.
It's all of your daily calories in one drink.
I'm right now. I'm about 180.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm getting ready to turn 48. Work out every morning, doing cardio. Right, I should be eating. If I don't want to gain weight, whether it's muscle or fat or whatever, I should be around 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day to maintain where I'm at now.
And most of it protein.
And most of it should be protein.
Yeah.
Less than 50 to 60 carbs a day is what I should be eating. Now, am I saying I do that right now? Absolutely not. It's one of the reasons why I do so much cardio. But my point is I know that I'm usually eating around 2,300. So I'm a little bit surplus of where I need to be.
Yeah.
If I were to drink one of those every day, oh my God.
Well, plus it's the holidays, so we've been kind of cheating.
Friendsmas, we ate a lot yesterday.
We did. So we had our Friendsmas gathering yesterday at the house, and it was really cool. Thank you to everyone who was able to show up and break bread with us and enjoy a good meal and some drinks, and it was fun. And so, but the desserts, oh my gosh. Number one, the food was great. And we had some great collard greens and a broccoli casserole that Scott and Jessica brought.
Very good.
Shauna brought the collard greens. And then we had, a good salad that Terry brought. And then we had ham and turkey. And then all the accoutrements, macaroni and cheese.
Green bean casserole. We went out.
We did. So that means that Christmas is going to be a little bit different for us. But
we're probably going to back it off, have some tacos that day.
Yeah. But Kat brought an amazing caramel cheesecake.
Oh my God.
And cheesecake is my
favorite dessert.
That's my Achilles right there. Anything with cheesecake, especially if it's not too chocolatey. I just like a great New York cheesecake, but this one had a great New York flavor with the caramel syrup on top.
It's so good.
Salted. It was a salted caramel. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I still have it in the fridge.
We're just straight addicted to sugar.
It
is what it is. I mean, we were just talking about our parents. Like my mom, when she made tea when I was a kid.
Sugar?
Like I didn't know there was unsweet tea.
Hold on. For those
the fuck is that?
For those of us who don't understand tea, it's not like we're
a cup of tea.
Tree and crumpets.
Hello, love.
We're in the South, so it's sugar tea.
Yeah, it's Southern tea.
I'm used to like when I grew up before I moved to the South, iced tea was unsweet.
There's a lot of things to do with tea that I've always not really understood. Put it outside on the porch with some lemons in it. What? I'm not putting something I'm drinking outside it'll steep outside. No. You've never heard of sun tea? No. There's bugs and dirt that's going to get into my tea. So let's make it in the...
Sun tea? Is that what they used to call it?
They literally, my grandmother used to do that. She would put a glass pitcher with tea out there and let it steep in the sun.
Was there a net over it at least for the bugs?
I'm trying to remember if there was a top on it, but I seem to recall the top was open or something. But my mother would literally, for a gallon of tea when I was a kid,
extra protein,
a whole cup of sugar, a whole cup.
That was Kool-Aid for us.
Cool. Same thing with Kool-Aid.
Cup of sugar. Yeah.
Or excuse me, Flavor Aid. Or whatever
you guys didn't have the
2-cent pack was, whatever that
the name brand. It was out.
Me and my swoop shoes and my 2-cent knockoff Kool-Aid.
It was the store, right?
The store, yeah.
The store late.
When we got the IGA, we were stepping up. Literally, I'm not knocking where I came from. It's just different, right?
Yeah.
But when they put the IGA into this town, when I tell you, every citizen showed up. For the grand opening
was it a line,
of the IGA.
Was it a line like at...
You couldn't park.
No. It's like a concert?
It's like, yes. Like everybody was there all excited that a grocery store had moved 30 minutes closer.
Yeah.
Because we would go get groceries. You had to go like forever. You had to go to near Columbia to get groceries.
Yeah,
so getting
the whole
IGA.
30 minutes away.
And the IGA is like not that much bigger than like a dollar store.
Yeah.
It's not a big grocery store.
It's not. It's like a Food Lion or a...
It's one of my first
Piggly
jobs.
Wiggly.
One of my first jobs working at the IGA.
Yeah.
To this day, I still remember a nightmare I had from that job. My job was blocking. Do you know what blocking is? Oh,
no.
Blocking and tackling, like in football.
No. So like when you go into a grocery store and all the shelves, you know how like everything's facing out, looks uniform, and there's like a solid wall, like especially when you go in the morning. That's because they have positions that block everything out. So you bring things up, you rotate product, you make it look uniform across the front of it. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do. That was part of my job. And then eventually I became a bagger.
Mm-hmm. So it's blocking is when you put when you stock the shelves, mm-hmm. and then all the labels are
facing the same way, and
way.
Everything looks like a solid wall on that line. Like, that's called blocking.
Okay.
So I remember I was blocking this shelf of ketchup, and it was taking forever. Just those red bottles. Just I'd go to the top, all the way down to the bottom, and get up, and 2 were gone, and I have to put more up there.
Because people were buying
them. Because I was trying to get this blocked out so I could go home, but every time by the time I got to the bottom, 2 or 3 were missing. Mm-hmm. And then I woke up.
So that was a dream.
It was Saturday morning, and I had to be at work in an hour. So I had spent a portion of my resting time working.
I wonder if that's like, honestly, something that actually happens, and then it's like a reset, and then you like, because you remember, I don't know, when I was in school, like in grade school, high school, all that, I remember having dreams about waking up, getting up to go to school, going to school, and then I wake up and I'm like late for school or something.
Yep.
Do you remember those dreams?
I still have test dreams every now and then.
Yeah.
Like I've got a test, right? Like a presentation, but it feels like a test.
It's taken a long time for me to not have that anxiety over, and I think actually cell phones kind of help that, because you can set like 10 different alarms on your cell phone,
right,
and snooze. But before cell phones, we were just talking about this because we watched John Wick again for the 20th time. And in John Wick, he has an alarm clock, and he has a cell phone too. So it's like, who sets an alarm clock in this day and age when you have a cell phone? But it just made me remember about having an alarm clock by the bed, and the new and improved alarm clocks had like white noise and things that you can go to sleep with. But hitting snooze, and then you couldn't set 2 or 3 different alarms. So if you hit snooze and it went away, then you were just SOL. Like,
I got one that was old when I got it. Like it was already had been used for like 5-6 years, but it looked kind of like the one that's in Groundhog's Day that he smashes, mm-hmm. with the digital, with the brown one, the brown and black one with the little flip things. Yeah, but it would play music, and it would wake me up to music in the mornings.
Oh, do you ever have those type of dreams where you're waking up, you're like, oh my God, and you thought you were at work or something or at school?
No.
Never?
Thankfully, no.
Wow. So you never, like, in your dream, got up, got ready, went to school, and then you woke up and you were like still in bed?
Not that I can remember, but I typically do not remember my dreams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know, I think I know the answer to this question since we were talking movies a little bit, shifting a little bit. But what's your favorite Christmas movie?
It would have to be, when I was younger, definitely Polar Express.
Yeah.
But
Jim Carrey.
Now
Jim Carrey is in Polar Express?
No, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Tom.
Sorry.
But now it would definitely be Elf.
Oh, okay.
That's for me.
That is the movie. You did say it was Elf for Ocean.
I thought it was Elf, which I like a lot of Elf, but some of it isn't funny to me. Some of it's cringy.
I was thinking Polar Express, but so it was the Christmas story. No. What's the mean Christmas? The Grinch. Not the Grinch, but the other one where, come on, guys.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
No, it's the movie where
The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Timmy.
Oh.
Santa Claus. Tim Allen?
No, Timmy, the kid, the Timmy.
Isn't that Nightmare Before Christmas?
No.
Oh, you're talking about A Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol.
Yeah. Charles
with
Dick. Yeah.
Jim Carrey. And it was like the animated one.
Right.
That's what I was thinking about when I was talking about Polar Express.
No, that's the one that has Bill Murray in it.
Yeah.
Scrooged is actually one of my top 3. Mm-hmm. I think it's way overlooked, but
but I'm talking about.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're right,
Scrooge
Ocean.
Is the character.
It is. Scrooge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Scrooge.
So you like that story? The Jim Carrey one came out in the early 2000s?
No, I was just thinking that was the movie. I wasn't saying I liked that.
Oh,
movie.
that's what you were confusing a Polar
Yeah.
Express with. I got
The
where you're at
actors.
now. I got where you're at now. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
too much Buffalo Trace before the show.
Yeah, that's good. I'm about to get some more. But yeah, no, obviously my favorite Christmas movie is A Christmas Vacation. For my money, I don't think it gets better than that.
Yeah, that's my number one. And then number two is going to have to be Home Alone 1 because, like, that's almost 30 years old today. Like, this year. That movie's 30 years old. Like, what?
Yeah.
Or maybe even...
That movie is as old is older in relation to us than It's a Wonderful Life was when we were kids.
True.
So like when we were kids, It's a Wonderful Life was a more recent movie than Home Alone is now to us.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was a kid thinking that It's a Wonderful Life was old.
Yeah.
Which when you watch that movie as an adult, it's not a Christmas movie. It's a banking movie.
I don't remember that movie, so I'll have to rewatch it. But
Oh, really?
It's similar to like Singing in the Rain type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as that era.
Yeah, everybody was talking in this. Well, what's up, Frank?
Yeah.
Righty-o, Jim Dandy. Let's go down to the bank and get our money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that super like erect walk.
I know. So funny story. When I was growing up, I was homeschooled until I was 11 years old. So my mom homeschooled us and would take us to work with her. And sometimes she would have odd jobs like being a housekeeper. And so she would clean rich people's houses. And so I remember going to this rich person's house. And when I say rich, like they were literally, like they lived in mansions, you know, in the great neighborhood. So, and we didn't have much, but we would go and my sister and I would hang out and sometimes help her. I would always shine the silver and iron the napkins and the aprons and stuff. So, and one week she was cleaning this house for a week or whatever, and so we would go every day, and they had all sorts of great movies that I'd never seen before. So The Wizard of Oz was one. Dumbo. These are all original Disney.
Yeah,
old school ones. And so all those movies, when we talk about like It's a Wonderful Life and all of that, that just kind of reminds me and brings me back to those days when I was just sitting there and my mom would be cleaning the house and we would sit there and watch movies all day.
Yeah. Ocean, I had a question for you. You're younger than us. You're considered what? Gen Z?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Let's find out. What are the years?
I think so.
Well,
I think so.
Yeah.
hey Siri, what are the age groups for the generations? The reason why I'm asking
I'm
is
not a millennial.
no, I don't think you are.
So you're after. Yeah, you're a Gen
I have
Z.
to be
Yeah,
Gen Z then.
yeah, Gen Z. You're considered a millennial, just on the cusp of it, and I'm a Gen Xer.
Yeah. I'm really a Gen Xer though.
You really
guys,
are.
At heart.
You really are. I mean, when we talk, you're so on this side, like you're the extreme end of the millennial on the Gen X side.
Yeah.
But so I grew up watching, which were old movies when I was growing up, the Disney movies, Fox and the Hound, Sleeping Beauty,
Yes.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yep.
And obviously, this isn't a controversial thing to say. Going back and watching them as an adult, sometimes you pick up on narratives and things in those movies that are a little like, oh, shit, I didn't catch that when I was a kid, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That does happen. But my question is, I've never watched them except for the things that had already pretty much been banned, right? There were some things that were banned, like, what was it, Uncle Remus and all those guys? With the Song of the South one that was,
Yeah.
that needed to be gone. It was a little strange.
Yeah.
But you know, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That movie's being remade in today's day and age, and they're
Didn't they ban it?
or they were like, for lack of a better term, they were wokeifying it, right? Like they were changing the dwarves into different types of people, and because they were trying to be like whatever. My question to you, is when you see those movies, do they offend you? Like when you watch those types of movies and you see the narratives in them, and do you go, oh, that's not good, they shouldn't have done that? Or do you just see it as it's a movie from a different time?
Like an older movie?
Yeah.
I definitely see it as a different time. Like, but I don't think a lot of people like take into account like when the movie came out or nothing. Like they just go into like what it is now, take it for what it is.
They see it.
Yeah, trying to make it as relatable to current times.
Right.
Yeah. And even back then, it wasn't current times. It was a fable. So they were, you know, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's not even real. Like you have seven dwarfs and you have a evil. I mean, I guess you could put it in terms of like real and humanity or whatever, but.
So all right. So Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Not the fantastical stuff like Cinderella.
For me, it's like even that story when it was made into an animated movie was old for that time frame. That story is a very old story, right? Just like when you read stories about King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table, and that's kind of the setting for those movies, right? So when you watch it today and you see people saying things like, oh, when Prince Charming kissed her without her permission to wake her up, that's sexual assault. I'm like, the people within that time frame would not have considered it that. It was something totally, to them, it was a fantastical, magical story of this prince who kissed this peasant. And I feel like people are missing it. Like they intentionally are not seeing what it is because they want to frame a narrative, and that's all that matters. They don't care about the damage they're doing to the psyche of society. It's just about this specific narrative, and all they care about is winning that narrative.
Yeah, I could see that, but I also feel that any story that you take from back then could be skewed in that manner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like any story from back in the day, because they didn't have the same sets of rules and regulations, and just everything that we have with society today was not in place. So it's how it was back then. And I'm not saying take it for what it was, but at the same time, I am saying take it for what it was. Because if you go into the Bible and you talk about all the stories that are in the Bible, and you try to make it a little bit more politically correct, like it's not going to come across the same way.
I give you another example of it. We just watched Unforgiven not too long ago, which is one of my top 10 movies. Like when we talk about what are your favorite movies, that's definitely within my top 10, probably top 5, but there's so many in there that I love these days. But framing Prince Charming kissing Snow White to wake her up from this, whatever it was, without her permission, and framing that as sexual assault, you would have to look at, no one's watching Unforgiven, right? At the beginning of that movie, whenever he goes on this mission, he leaves his 2 children, both of which are under the age of 8.
8 and 10.
Were they 8 and 10?
Because remember the wife died when.
That's right.
10 years ago.
So the kids were 10 and 8.
Yeah.
And he just leaves them on this ranch in the middle of nowhere with instructions to separate the hogs, and I'll be back in, what is he, like 2 months? Something like that?
It's a few weeks, but
by today's standard, you would look at that and go, he's a child abuser. We have to remake this movie without the child abuse in it.
Right.
Right? If you hold him, instead of seeing that this was the standard of living then, right, and this is how it was, you want to reframe it in modern society. In my opinion, how about you guys stop going to the well of your cheap, available intellectual property so you don't have to pay writers, so you don't have to pay new people to come in and make new ideas? How about you guys, because how many times are we going to get it? We got the animated, then we got the CGI, then we get the live. Now we're just going to get it beamed into your fucking skull. I mean, they're just going to keep going until they just have drained this story of everything that it's got. Instead of continuing with that story and changing everything about it so it fits a modern world, make one in the modern world.
Right.
Right? Just make one, make a story that has nothing to do with Snow White. Leave that mythical story alone and just make a different story.
Right.
But you're lazy, you're lacking creativity these days, and you're fucking scared to try anything new because of how expensive it, how much it's going to cost you. Everything's got to be safe. They like this story. Give it to them with more
it's almost like
pandering in it.
Yeah, it's almost like they said, you know what? Let's chat GPT this.
Yeah.
What, and make it modern.
What is the most woke way we could do this, right? Oh, dwarves, that's not acceptable. Which is funny because how many roles could be possibly available for people that are of short stature like that?
Well, first of all, not very many.
So aren't you fucking them?
Yes, you are doing a disservice to those folk.
Oh, have I got to be a little bit more?
I'm just saying,
I've had a
you've
couple
used the F word like 20 times.
I've had a few drinks at this point, but this stuff, it's irritating to me. Like I instead of repackaging and reselling us the same old garbage in a way that we don't want it, which is clear at this point, we don't want it this way. Just go do something new. Disney.
Yeah.
You want to end it on the Disney rant?
We can. We have 4 minutes left in the show.
Well,
but
I actually have I've enjoyed having you. Well, again, I kind of set that up and then ranted on it. Oh, but so you don't see any of that. You don't feel that way about it.
Feel what way?
That we should remake these things and
make them
change
politically
them
correct.
and make them politically correct.
I think that maybe if you want to remake something, like you were saying, make it acceptable for today's world, but you don't have to like discredit the one that was made before, because if it was made in like the 60s or the 70s, it's a different time. So maybe make it how you want to see it if you want to do the remake, or just make a new movie.
I say do make. I agree with you. And I also say make new movies, please. Like there's so many, I'm sure there's so many writers, directors, producers out there that want to get their movies made that aren't, because here you go with your agenda and wanting to, bring these blasts from the past back. And honestly, people my age, I think these are more for the people that are younger and don't really have a comparison, because people my age and above, like, we don't really care about these old movies anymore.
That's their
make
problem.
Something else.
You understand that's the problem, though, right? Is humans love their archetypes. Right? We love the princess and the prince, but we just want to see it in a different way.
Yeah.
Right? Like they love these stories. If you look throughout all historical stuff, you always have these same narratives that pop up. So they love the princesses, and the new generation that's coming up, they're going to love the princesses too, but we just have to, but let's slowly change the archetype so we can change society in the direction that some people are trying to push it. And that's what I don't understand.
Boring.
Yeah. It's not working.
No.
People can smell bullshit.
I know.
They don't like it.
And you know what's different from that is let's just take the movies that we talked about a couple of our last podcast, and we're not going to rant on this, but let's just take the movie with Ryan Gosling that we just watched.
Blade Runner 2049.
Blade Runner, okay. Blade Runner in the 80s film, and then they actually made it a sequel to it. So yes, you're doing the same Blade Runner, and you have some of the same characters in it, but it's a whole new, and it's based on what the future would be.
Yeah.
So maybe do that. Maybe take the mermaid and like, what about her kids? If she was able to have kids, we don't even know. Right?
Yeah.
With your boy, Eric. But so we want to, wish you and your families a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. We may do a show in between Christmas and New Year's. It just depends. Because I'm scheduled, I'm literally scheduling a surgical procedure that I should have had done like 15, 20 years ago on the week of Christmas. So I'm supposed to get my wisdom teeth taken out, guys. So we'll see if that happens. And
I'll record.
No, please do not record.
I'll be
me.
recording you in the car afterwards for sure. I know you're going to say some nonsense.
Shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm scared, guys. I'm scared.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We had a great time with you guys. Thanks, for producing
Yeah,
tonight.
appreciate it. You did a great job.
Sharon said, producer Chaos said that you did a great job tonight.
Thanks.
Tell producer Chaos we said hey.
Yes.
Yep. All right, guys. Shiny side up. Watch out for the aliens. They're coming.
Yes, and have a great Christmas. See you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.